You're funny.
Like I said. Like I said. Like I said. Do you like my tail? Like I said.
We're back for another exciting episode of Iron Rage. The shows have been getting better and better from week to week, and we are joined not only by my co-host Lee Priest, but we have special guest today, Sergio Oliva Jr., best poser at the Arnold Classic, 6th place. Sergio, welcome to the show.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Welcome. And look, it just so happens I'm wearing your shirt today.
What a coincidence. Holy mackerel.
Wow. I know you don't take it off. That's why.
That's right.
I know.
That's a
it
good
looks
shirt.
So good on me.
Lee, I like that one.
Yeah, when I did the show with John the other day, John thought I had a vest on because people actually think, even when I went down to pick up my wife from work, someone goes, "Are you wearing a vest?" So it looks pretty good. Here in Australia, we're pretty militant at the moment, so it sort of fits in pretty good.
You know, Sergio, I said to Lee a few weeks ago when he was wearing your shirt, I said, how'd you get that shirt? I said, did you call up Sergio? He goes, no, I bought it from his site. Lee is that kind of guy. He doesn't want any freebies, you know, although he'll take freebies if you send him to him, but he ordered it right off your site. He likes your clothing. That much.
I know. I cussed him out. I cussed out my best friend too for letting it slip by, because a couple guys will do it every now and then we'll catch it.
Yeah.
You know, and then we'll refund them. But he must have did it under an alias.
under my real name, but no.
Lee McCutcheon. That's right. Yeah.
No, I don't. I always support people. You know, you got to make money and shit. I don't want freebies. I always support people.
No. You don't have to get a freebie, but you guys are paying a shitload in shipping. Like a lot of the Aussies that buy from me, I give them a different discount because you're getting raped in the shipping.
Yeah.
And you got to wait so long. So yeah, that's what I was saying when I messaged you. At least let me give you like a discount.
I like you on a secret, Sergio. I like being raped.
That's why you stayed in the IFBB as long as you did.
I know. Can you believe that they actually, in the end, fucking suspended me for life? I was like, in the end, I must have ended up giving it up too easy, like a dead root. Hey, Sergio, don't talk. Don't say that, Sergio. You've still got a contest coming up. Don't go in.
Don't blow it. Lee, don't blow it for him,
me.
Please. Yeah, don't blow it.
Forget. Cut that bit out. Cut that bit out, Dave. Save Sergio's career. Cut it out.
Now, Sergio, you won Best Poser, but you only came in 6th place in the posing round, and I didn't really understand that. But I think, from what I understand, I think Sean Ray put out some crazy video. I don't know if it's true or not. That the guy who sponsored the Best Poser got to pick the Best Poser. Is that? Did you hear that?
Yeah, I mean the Best Poser award, the 10 grand. I mean it's irrelevant, no matter what. That's what I was saying in my post. I could have came out, shook my hips a couple times, you know, did 2 or 3 twisted back double Arnold poses. I would have won that 10,000 anyway. What I was confused about is I had talked to people in the sport about how the best poser actually gets points at the Arnold. No matter what, you get points.
Well, why aren't they judging the posing round like they did initially when Arnold brought it in? Because it was supposed to count, like, you know, for entertainment purposes, to make people come back or come into the show you doing a good routine.
I don't know, but I also
you should have been first. You should have had first place points in that, which would have probably brought you up to like 4th or 3rd place probably in the placings.
It did last year. It made me get above Cedric and Akeem, and I came back a little bit better at night last year. But no matter what, I got bumped up last year, and that's what I was even talking to, you know, DJ about and Aceto, and I was like, well, I'll get at least one spot, you know, on the posing, and then I just got to come back a little bit harder and maybe catch somebody else. I went down another spot.
Yeah,
I did worse.
Weird.
So that was really disheartening, and it just really just kind of made me realize I always, as a kid, wondered why people don't do the routine.
Yeah.
And I just thought, you know what, maybe they just aren't artistic or they don't want to do it. Or now that I'm realizing, and that was what I was saying in my post, is I'm not going to do nothing. I can't do nothing.
No, you have to do your routine. That's what you're known for.
I just for sure practice for months. And to practice as long as I do, that means I'm practicing in the off season. So practicing my routine at 3:15, it's killing my knees, you know, and as I get closer to the show, I weigh less, but now I'm all fucking
You got to put
brittle.
knee pads on like Lee does.
I do have knee pads.
Right,
So
Lee?
Hey, that wasn't for the posing routine, though.
No,
Dave.
I
That
know
was
it
just to
wasn't,
keep.
but you have knee pads.
That was just for my MD contract.
So I just hate that I'm putting all this time into it, and it's actually not helping me. Literally, not 1 point.
Yeah.
So now I understand why people aren't doing it anymore. Even Cedric, if you watch Cedric at the Arnold, every year the routine got lazier and lazier.
Yeah.
And what it is I think he figured out it doesn't matter anymore. You get your 10 grand, but besides that, it's not helping you at all. So if you know literally one person, or in my case, 0 people are going to do any effort, there's no reason to even practice a routine.
Yeah, but
I just have a real bad issue this year because this year was the worst routines. Maybe because the TVs were up. I mean, Ian just watched himself on the TV the whole time. He just looked, did a lat spread, went around.
Yeah.
Akeem walked out. He kind of pointed, did a thing.
I was shocked that Nick Walker was like doing like a guest posing out there too. You know, he was like doing the ear to the hand to the ear thing going.
Yeah, I mean, the winner can do whatever he wants. You know, that's different. This is the hardest part about it. You know, I can't say shit. Because what am I talking about? Moving from 6th to 4th? It's like, whatever. I mean, yeah, it's a difference of like.
But they should. But you know what? At the Arnold, they said they were going to judge the routine. They have a separate column in the scorecard for routine round. You have to judge it. I mean, otherwise, get rid of it. Who cares? They didn't have it before. If you're going to put the routine round in there and tell people you're scoring it, it can't just be another evaluation of your physique. It's got to be a routine. It's got to be scored as though you're doing like a gymnastics routine, like in fitness. You know. It's got to be judged according to entertainment value. And you know, if you win Best Poser, ostensibly you have the best routine.
Yeah, it's just unfortunately going to make everyone not care anymore. And I don't think that they're realizing the bigger picture of allowing me to get last pretty much in the posing while you had someone go out there. And it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. Like, we were all joking about it backstage with Ian and Nick, just how they're going to go out there and not do anything. And, you know, they didn't prepare anything. But I didn't know it was going to be that bad. And I also didn't know that they were going to do it that bad and then they were going to come out with more points.
Sergio, why would guys who are at the elite level of their sport not take more time to put into an entertaining... Look, I never was a pro, but I always put a lot of effort into my posing routine, and it as to the best of my ability to entertain the crowd at least, because I knew that it would get me guest posings and it would make me more popular. Why wouldn't guys, if they're going to go out there and be their best, put together some kind of a blockbuster routine, hire a choreographer? I mean, most of these guys sit around doing nothing all day anyway, so make yourself remembered, you know, by the fans, you know.
Because we don't have time anymore. And unfortunately,
what are people doing? They're on social media all day? I mean, come on. I mean, these guys don't have jobs.
Yeah, I mean, not to keep using Ian as an example, because I do feel like he really does love bodybuilding. He does actually care about it a lot. But he's got a YouTube. So on that, you know, that's what I say all the time. Bodybuilders train Monday through Saturday and then rest on Sunday.
Right. Posing
bodybuilders, you know, train Monday through Saturday, and then they pose on Sunday. We practice our routine.
Yeah.
So on that Sunday, I could be resting. I could be focusing on my YouTube. I could be focusing on other things that are bringing revenue when what I'm doing is one, tearing down my body, and I'm also not getting anything from it. So, but the other thing, people, every time I say something, they fucking have to like take it as I'm talking about myself. I said also, I don't think people need to do a routine. I just think and I use Branch as an example. Branch didn't do a fucking routine.
Right.
But when he came out, it was exciting. You know?
Oh, yeah.
He at least, before he walked out, practice. I don't care if you practice literally backstage, but any kind of care or effort, we should be rewarding guys. Right. And if we see someone go out there and they fucking scratch their dick and walk around kind of like lost, then they should be deducted, because no matter what, there's people that bought tickets.
Of course.
For the night
show. It's a
professional.
professional sport. Lee, did you practice your posing routine? You always had good routines.
Yeah, I always practice. You know, I'd find a song that I liked, and you know, generally it mightn't have been a popular song, but I just found a song. I could be listening to a song. It could be an older song or a love song, but I felt if it moved me and stuff. It's almost like when you see people like Labrada pose sometimes. Yes, you get the people like would come out and do the most musculars to a beat. It gets the crowd going. But I used to like it if you could pose to a song, and sometimes it would feel weird because there might not be no noise because the crowd is just mesmerized by your pose and did his song.
Right.
But, the cheer and that. But, anyone can put on a song and with a good heavy beat, and every third beat, you hit a most muscular, you hit a double bicep and stuff like that. But it's weird because when I was watching the commentary of the Arnold, they're talking about Oksana. And they were saying how Oksana was probably in 5th and 6th place, but her routine was so good, that's what moved her into 2nd place. So it's like they're obviously judging some people, but they're not judging the men's bodybuilding on the routines, which is weird because I even remember back in the day when you had Labrada competing against Dorian and those guys, Labrada would be like 8th in the posing round. You're like, how the hell does that happen? He's one of the best posers up there. Bob Paris would be like 10th in the posing round. You're like, what? He's one of the best posers on stage. So,
well, the way they justified it was and I've asked this question to Steve Weinberger before. They said, well, it's just another physique evaluation round we're doing. We're not really judging the routine. But when they brought back the posing routine only for the Arnold Classic, Arnold wanted them to judge it as a routine and entertainment value routine. So, and they were doing that originally, like Sergio said, up until maybe last year. I don't know why this year they decided to just judge it as a regular round.
Well, if you're not going to judge it, then just bring the whole lineup on stage.
Just get rid of it.
Their compulse and just say, okay, the whole lineup pose down and just go crazy on stage if you're not going to judge the routine.
Yeah.
Well, what it is because the Arnold and the Olympia were so close together this year. That's all it was. You can't have. Let's break it down. Let's say that they did give me the points. So now I went above Akeem and Justin, and now I'm still not going to the Olympia.
Right.
So now you have these guys who just got beat by some guy who's not going to the Olympia. Now go to the Olympia. It just throws off the whole.
Well, Kuko's not going to the Olympia. He was 3rd, and he probably should have been 2nd.
Yeah. But Kuko looked so good, it didn't matter. So what I'm saying is you can't have Justin and Akeem get beat by me, then go to the Olympia. Then people are just going to be like, oh, well, what if Sergio, the what if? You don't want any what ifs when you're 10 days away. So that's all it is. I think they just knew this is what we want going into the Olympia. We're not changing it because there's no way that when I came back out a little bit better that I did not at least beat Akeem on his back double. You know, that back double was probably his worst ever.
Yeah. Arnold said that he thought you were top 3. I don't know if you heard the broadcast. I was listening.
Yeah, but that's like when Samir Banu makes a post about how bodybuilding's dead. It doesn't mean shit.
Well, I mean, Arnold kind of is pretty, blunt. He really felt that you deserved top 3. So I'm just throwing it out there.
No. I'm just saying that their eye and their opinion is not valid anymore because how many times did you talk about calves in the show? Yeah. You talk about calves a million times. How many times did you talk about glutes and hams? Never once, because that wasn't something that they were judged on. Right. And going to the shows with my dad was the same thing. They'd be talking about shit that really, it's not the most important anymore. So I love it. I love Arnold, giving me the benefit of the doubt, but it's like, it's like an old time football player talking about, the football today. It's like, it doesn't really mean anything.
How much muscle did you put on from last year? Because you looked a lot. You look big just sitting there. You look enormous.
I know. That was the worst part about it is, man, I killed it. God damn it. I fucking killed it this offseason. And I'll post. I have no problem posting progress pics after the show. I'm going to post pictures going into the show. I looked insane. It was so ridiculous.
What did you weigh on that stage?
I think it was like 286 or 287.
What? Are you looked at? I said, this guy looks like he's over 280. Holy shit.
So you have to think, though, you have to think the fucking water buffalo I could have dropped another 5 pounds,
If you were really 280, you would have been crazy looking. Holy mackerel.
I was looking crazy. I mean, Chris, Cito, he doesn't get really excited about a lot.
Right.
I seriously at one point had to tell him, like, Chris, calm down, he was so happy. He was so excited about how I looked, and it was so good. But then this is the problem the problem is me not doing shows. And every time I say that, it makes it sound like I'm purposely not doing shows, not like I didn't fucking try and go out to Australia, get stuck, I got fucked over with COVID shit, and then I had personal issues for Chicago. But no matter what, at the end of the day, I didn't do a show. So now with this added weight, it's a lot. It's a lot of weight to put on.
Absolutely.
The fill out and the dry out process is different. And if I had did other shows this year, me and Acito would have already known exactly what to do. The last couple of days, we kind of were like, let's do this, let's do that, and it wasn't right. So it's just my fault for not doing shows. But that's all it was. And you really can tell who really knows the sport in bodybuilding when someone gets fucked up. And then you think, oh, that's what you thought you looked like. No, you can have digestive. I remember one show I couldn't take a shit.
Yeah.
I looked like a completely different bodybuilder.
Right.
And sometimes people don't understand digestion, trying to fucking get shit out of your colon. Yeah. It makes your stomach look bad.
Fiberlize. You got to use Fiberlize.
And it's funny. It's funny because when I was watching the show, it's like they always go on about Ian's symmetry and Ian's size, but there's a couple of shots here and photographs of Sergio doing the double bicep right beside Ian, and I was just looking at going, oh my God, if Sergio just had that conditioning today, the mass and the symmetry and that, it was just like, wow.
I don't know if you're going to take this as an insult or a compliment, but I'm telling you, you look like a clone of your father now. You've filled out your physique to the point where you guys, you can see that you're father and son. I mean, you have the same genetics. It's unbelievable. The thickness through your delts, arms, back, I mean, has come up so much from the last year that I almost didn't recognize you when I saw you on stage. And I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass because I got you on the show. I'm being honest, you know.
Thanks. Well, one, I would never take offense for someone saying I look like one of the best bodybuilders ever. Yeah. It's just when people can't like not compare me to him. That's the only reason why I get frustrated. But yeah, that's the worst part about it is, and that's why, you know, like people are so fucking retarded when they're like, oh, you got your ass beat. Like if let's say I got into a car accident the day before. And then I'm like, man, you know what? I'm going to go up on stage no matter what. Right. And then I'm fucking hobbling around and I'm all fucked up. Are they going to be like, oh, you got your ass beat? No, because something happened that fucked you up and now you don't look your best. If I came in looking my best and I got 6th place, I got my ass fucking whooped.
Right.
All it was is I fucked up the opportunity for us to have a good Arnold. It was my fault completely because it was a walk away for this guy. He didn't get challenged at all. And then at the end, we learned he was never getting challenged. Even when we thought it was close between him and Kuklo, it wasn't even remotely close. So the whole show, I feel like I fucked it up for everybody because even if you're a Nick fan, you still should have wanted him to get challenged, stand next to someone where you're like, oh man, you know what? Maybe he lost that shot. Right. He didn't lose one shot.
Right.
So I'm really mad at myself, but it's just one of those learning things. But
it's like I said to you, I don't think you fucked the show up. It's like, I don't think people give Sergio credit because if it wasn't for Sergio throwing it out there, that challenge, the Arnold wouldn't have been what it was. You wouldn't have had Nick there. You wouldn't have had Ian there. You wouldn't have had all these guys there. Sergio's the one that put the challenge out, and you're the one that made that show because all these competitors said, fuck it, let's do the show.
That's right. You screwed yourself, Sergio.
And yeah, let me clarify that too, because a lot of people are now spending their whole day to fucking message me about how I challenged everybody to come. Please, everybody who hates me, even people that like me, go back and watch that video. It's still up. Mm-hmm. I said, why don't we all come together and compete? Because of COVID, it ruined bodybuilding, and the whole world told everyone who in fitness, you're not a necessity, and we all took a hit. So why don't we fucking all come together and compete and put on a good show? Somehow that turned into, why don't you come to the Arnold and challenge me because I'm going to beat all of you? Like, it's so sad.
But they came. But Sergio, you got them to all come. That's great. You made it the best Arnold ever, you know, because of that.
Yeah, but they're making it seem like I was like I'm the final round boss, you know, like I'm like, come beat me. No, I know it's really hard for people to listen to me when I talk because I think they always look at me as a child of someone. But I'm really just a big fan of the sport, and I really saw bodybuilding went to shit. That Tampa and Chicago show last year were boring, and it was horrible. But we all watched it because it's all the bodybuilding we got. Right. So I was thinking, man, what if we could all get together and have all these guys go together? And that's just the hypocrisy of this whole thing, is that people now are messaging me to tell me, you know, ha, you said that the shows that Nick did were weak, and now he beat you. You suck. So I'm confused. So do I suck, or am I?
Sergio, you read all the fucking. I don't even look at comments anymore. I don't even know how you read all that stuff.
But I want to ask them. You know, do I suck, or am I good? No. What I'm saying is because if I suck, then no, it still was a weak show. But if I'm good and you're like, he beat you, then it's kind of a compliment to me. Like,
well, you know, I always say that all these shows, when we try to figure out who's going to win. Hold on. When we try to figure out who's going to win these shows, Lee, you know, and we speculate, we always base it on everyone being at their best. And let's face it, aside from Nick, none of you guys were at your best. You were all very close to your best, but you weren't at your best. And I think and Nick came in perfect, you know, and that's why he won the show. I mean, And that's the way it's going to be at the
I don't
Olympia
think
too.
anyone.
There's going to be people at that Olympia that are not going to be in their best shape, and they're going to lose, and they're going to move down the rankings because of that. You know.
I don't think I was close. I don't think I was close to my best. I don't think Ian was close to his best. Akeem was definitely not close to his best. I think across the board, and that's why I was so excited because I saw them, and I was like, "Holy shit, the door is open." I just never looked at myself.
You looked. I thought you looked very, very good. I thought that your midsection, like you said, you were having little problems with some distension there. Other than that, I mean, your glutes were striated. You had more size than you've ever had. Obviously, you're a great poser. You were very exciting to watch on stage. You know, it is what it is. Like you said, things happen. Not everything works out perfectly every single time. You know.
That's what I thought. When I was watching, when I saw Sergio and Akeem, I was just thinking, if Sergio and Akeem are at their best, Nick would have his hands full. Steve and Ian wouldn't have even. To me, watching it, I don't think Steve's a great bodybuilder, but Sergio at his best and Akeem at his best and Nick, that's where you would have been looking at people fighting it out for the free positions right there. And Sergio, when you say about the car crash and that, trust me, fans are mean. When I went to do that at Olympia, when I had the long hair, I was going to do it, then I wasn't going to do it. And when I said I wasn't going to do it, my fans said, you have to do it. You have to do it. We want you in it. You know, if you're not mentally, it's hard to get prepared. So I did it. Looked like shit. Yeah. The next day, I got bombarded with messages. How could you go on stage looking like shit? You let us down. Fuck you. We hate you now. I'm like, so you can't win, Sergio. No matter what you do, you can't win.
But you know, have you ever heard anyone ever talk about my stomach at any show ever before?
Never.
Nope.
You know, so that's why I don't understand that people still don't get. You can fuck up, but that doesn't mean that's what you really look like. You know, like what if I like, you know, had a flex wheeler breakdown and I went to McDonald's drive-thru 4 times in a row, and then I got on stage? Is that what I look like, or did I just add on a bunch of fucking cheeseburgers?
So what was the problem? Did you have a digestive problem?
Yeah. And okay, so there's 2 things. There's one, I should have dried out a lot longer. I should have started earlier. We just did the exact same dry out we've done when I weighed, 8 pounds less. So we should have started earlier. And then I tried to carb up a little bit, and then when I got to the show, I even got there early because I have digestive issues in general already. That's why I even created my own supplement company, because a lot of subs fuck my stomachs up. And when I eat a meal, like for instance, a photo shoot. If I do a photo shoot, I have to eat 2 hours before, go to the gym an hour before the photo shoot, pump up, so that way I'm ready 2 hours later. It's just how it is, and I've been doing it since the NPC. I used to be a super heavyweight pumping up with the middleweights because it takes me so long. And I'll never forget, so many people have came and be like, you're doing it wrong and blah, blah, blah. And then I'll beat them. And I think it's actually my dad. I've heard horror stories about people be calling my dad up on stage and he's just still pumping up an hour later.
He was a big pumper up too? Yeah.
Yeah. So my body needs that. But the problem is that it takes my food forever to digest. So I prepared for that. I went to the venue early. I'll never forget. I'm sitting down. And then Terrence comes in and he's like, hey, bro, they're fucking moving fast, which is rare for a bodybuilding show. They're usually behind. So then he goes, hey, they just came in and said 10 minutes you're lining up. And I'm like, the 10 minutes to go pump up? And he said, no, straight to line up. And you know what I should have done? I should have just went right away, right then.
Right.
But not everyone was back there. Akeem wasn't back there. Nick wasn't back there. Someone else wasn't back there. And I was like, well, let me let them know that, man, they're moving fast. And I waited and I told them. And then that bitch fucking came in and is like, you're lining up in 10 minutes. Like, no, like, this is the Arnold. Like, this is the fucking Arnold. How the fuck are we not, like, I know there's a new people running, and I knew it was going to be a mess. We all talked about it before the show. We told ourselves this show's going to be a mess. I've only heard horror stories. But we know we have to pump up. But then I learned what it is I'm the only one who has to pump up, because even when she ran in, this is crazy. When she ran in, it's like you gotta line up in 10 minutes. So that means I had less than 10 minutes to pump up. Yeah. So I ran in there and I'm fucking, me and Kukla are the same. He's pumping up too. I'm doing curls, everything, pumping up. And Ian and Nick are just sitting. I was so baffled. But I've done that before, where I've done photo shoots with like a couple other guys, before, and they just don't pump up.
I don't pump up either, because my body's metabolism is so fast, I would flatten out in like 2 seconds if I did.
I would. Yeah. I'd pump up. I'd pump up for at least half hour. There's a running joke. People are like, Lee, you having a workout? Because the more I pumped up, the better I got. I never flattened out. I always looked better. And I'd be back there pumping up. But we had a similar incident once at that Florida show. They told us we had half an hour, so guys are just sitting around. And I'm like, Sergio, I love to pump up because I get bigger. And the guy's like, oh, you got half hour. So we're just sitting around, and he comes back, 5 minutes, 5 minutes. We're like, 5 minutes for what? He goes, to get on stage. So everyone jumps up. I start doing push-ups. Yeah, they've got time for push-ups. So we start putting oil on. Forget the oil. I'm like, wait a minute. I said, you want us to go out on stage? We've been dieting for 14 to 16 weeks. No pump up, no fucking oil. I said to the guy, go ahead and start the show without us. Next thing, Wayne comes back, Lee, are you being difficult?
So it's just, I still would have been holding all the water. That wouldn't have changed.
Yeah.
But my stomach wouldn't have been such a fucking eyesore. And I think that would have helped me definitely move up.
Right.
It was, I swear to God, I was trying to hold a vacuum in the whole time. And the best I could get it to where it just looked like it was just normal.
Right.
So in between poses, when I took a breath, it was like double fucking gut. So it was just really bad. So
you could have good muscle and body control, which you do on stage, but if you have distension, it's like you're fighting a losing battle, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and that's something I never ever dealt with in my life.
Interesting. Okay.
And,
So that's my fault.
And that's the sad thing with this sport. You know, Sergio's always real, tells it like it is. And when you tell people, you know, like when you're fine-tuning your body to a contest, the smallest things can make a huge difference because your body's so fine-tuned.
Right.
But these idiots that listen, all they hear is, oh, they're making excuses. They're making excuses. They don't understand because your body's so susceptible to water. Anything you eat, it can just make a major change. But these idiots that sit on their computer, oh, he's making excuses, get blah, blah, blah. Sergio, whenever they talk shit to me, I click on their profile and look at them and go, oh, okay. But don't do what I do, Sergio, because I reply to them sometimes and I lost my Instagram account. So
multiple times you've lost
well,
it.
I told one guy I felt sorry for him because he was going through chemo. Well, that's what he looked like, but you know, so and it's like you're not allowed to do that. That's bullying. I found out that's bullying. I was giving him wishes because I thought he was stage 4, but who knew? Who knew that's how he looked?
But Lee, you're right. That's why I didn't say anything about that. I wasn't going to post about it at all because a long time ago, you probably didn't follow me, but after Chicago Pro, I made a post about, and the whole post, all I said was, I need to be a better pro. I need to work on things better. And I had talked about filling out where I need to start eating sooner. And I talked about it. And then I posted a picture of what I looked like right after the night show. Right. Like not like the next day, how everybody looks, like literally an hour after. And I was just showing that my body needs time, blah, blah, blah. And I ended it with, all I need to do is focus on being a better pro. This is my mistake, blah, blah, blah. Before I know it, everyone's messaging Michael Lockett that I made excuses. And he's posting that how he's going to shoot me with his fucking AK-47.
Are you serious?
You don't remember that? You don't remember
I
that?
don't remember him saying he was going to shoot you, though. That's funny.
No wonder
he was posting
made these
pictures.
shirts.
He was posting pictures with his guns, and thank God for, because then I'm thinking, I literally wrote a post saying I fucked up, and I need to learn my body better and be a better pro. This guy's getting this crazy, then let's go. I'm already ready to fight this guy. Thank God for Brandon Ray, who was friends with both of us, and realized Michael never even read my posts.
Yeah.
He just had he had a bunch of people just messaging him.
Right.
So thank God, I mean, in the conversation, because we're still going at it, because he three-wayed us, and I was like, bro, I'm gonna fuck you up, blah, blah, blah. and then the next message is okay, Serge, I read the post. I'm completely sorry, you know, blah, blah, blah. Then he made a post apologizing because he made a post with a box of tampons saying, oh, some of these competitors just fucking tampon. But I always will have respect for Michael Lockett because he didn't have to write an apology post.
No, that's
he could have just not said anything about it at all and then been like, oh, I kind of fucked up. He made an apology post. But that's when I learned no matter what you write after a loss, people are not saying, man, you know what, this is informative, because there's tons of people, that were like, I have the same problem. I learned from you and messaging that. But unfortunately, just like in politics, the majority voice that's heard are the idiots.
Yeah, that's
true. I was going to say the same thing when I listen to stuff like that, because I've done it, and if other people are doing it, listening to you say that, if you're competing or you're getting into it, you should take that on board. Okay, if I have the same sort of issues, I'm going to listen to what Sergio says so this doesn't happen to me. Like I said, it's just a little whatever they are. I won't say because this show will get demonetized. It's just those that sit out there and all they do is just have this hate. They spew shit. But then again, they're probably the same ones that come and shake your hand at an expo. Hey, how you going? Blah, blah, blah. But when they get online, they're 6'5", 400 pounds. Fuck you. You're a piece of shit. You're fucking What's that, Mum? Dinner's ready. Oh, fuck, gotta go. Dinner's ready.
They got to get out of their room in the basement. Yeah. Sergio,
Yeah, it's true.
Legion Sports Fest, you got that in 3 weeks. The decision, I'm assuming you made because you want to be your best and then obviously qualify for next year's Olympia?
And I need to start doing more shows. You know, finally my life is together. I don't have a reason not to do a show. I mean, not that Reno's in my backyard, but it's not too far.
Yeah.
But yeah, I realized too, and that's what I was telling Chris, there's a lot of things that is involved in doing a competition that you cannot train for in the gym. Unfortunately, you know, it's just a stage presence. Like, right, I can be a great poser, but being able to stand there, hold your poses, how you let out your air after a pose, you know, learning to breathe while you're holding them. I can practice that all day with my, you know, with my workout partner and stuff like that, but with the crowd and the pressure. And then, you know, next to people that are, you know, your peers, there's just a lot that you forget. And I feel like, I mean, I did a show last year, but I feel like it's been fucking 5 years.
It feels a long time, yeah, since we saw you last year, right?
Go ahead, Lee.
So it's like you said, because I used to practice my poses. There's a lot of poses I'll do on the ground. And like you said, at home, I practice it. If I'm down doing one of these poses side on, my stomach would be dead flat. Because like you said, when you get out there on the stage in the audience, once that adrenaline picks up, your whole breathing changes. And I noticed that when I was doing boxing for a bit there, when I get to the, you know, sparring, hitting pads is okay. But as soon as I get in to spar someone, your breathing changes, you get out of breath easier. It's just like totally crazy from this adrenaline. But let me look ahead to the future. 2022, Sergio's doing shows. He's qualified for Olympia. Sergio's doing shows. Fuck this Sergio. Who does he think he is? He's already qualified for Olympia. Why is he doing these shows? Money hungry bastard. He shouldn't be in it. Sergio's just taking places away from these other people. Who the fuck? I'm just preparing you now, Sergio.
He's stealing money out of people's pockets. Yeah.
I'm going to record this and post it as soon as they do that because I already said it. I'm going to fucking do every fucking show I can do.
You got to pull Milos next year and hit everything.
Yeah. Like when Nathan did that one year. He fucking took 10,000 from like 5 different people. He just did like a bunch of shows.
Well, what Ian only did those 2 or 3, and when he went to Dallas, look at Ian go and do another show, taking a placing away from someone. It's like you can't.
Yeah,
you
people
can't
were
win.
saying
It's
people were criticizing him for making it so the Kukla couldn't go to the Olympia. You know, like it was his fault.
You've only got limited time in the sport, and if you're on, you're on. Run with it. If the shows are close together, you'd be silly not to, because you can make money and just put them. It's like these people. It's like they go to work every day to make money, don't they? It's like you're not going to go to work next week because you got money. You should take the day off and let the other guy work double time to get more money. It's like, fuck off.
Well, Sergio, I want to thank you for joining us today. I know you have a busy schedule. You just got off an airplane, and you know, we love you over here at RxMuscle. I thought you looked great. I think you were very entertaining. At least you entertained me watching your posing routine. And don't stop doing those routines because, man, you really actually add a level of excitement to the show. And I look forward to it every time you're competing.
Thanks, Dave. I wish that paid my bills, though.
Well, 10 grand is not chump change, so you can't complain.
Yeah,
about that.
that's not at every show, though. That's not at every show.
True. That's true.
That's one show.
Look at this, just for Sergio.
Oh, yeah. Let's see Sergio's victory pose there. Take us out.
Hey, Lee, you're never going to be my father.
I know. That's what you notice, though, when people say that, I always say, no, I'm not the best, because people try and say, oh, that looks better. Sergio said, no. Different eras. Sergio's the one that has that pose. I think we even do it a little bit different. So, people always try.
There's
and say
only
that.
3 people who I've ever seen hit the victory pose. It was impressive.
I can do it. I can do it good, but Sergio's number 1 at doing it. I can pull off a good.
You were very good. I'll tell you who else did a good one. But although his posing is not really good, but he was able to carry it off. Paul Dillette, because he got the big thick arms too, and Sergio. Those you 3 guys are the only ones who really could hit that victory.
No, Brandon hits it really good.
Yeah, he's got a good one.
Because he's got that tiny waist, though, so it looks impressive, yeah. But I'm talking from a sheer mass and freak factor. Dillette, Priest, and you hit that.
So what you're saying, for the white guys, I pull it off the best. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
But
Me- me-
it's better now.
You're the
It's better now.
best.
I
You're the
finally-
best white boy who hits that shot.
Me, actually, Vince Comerford, he was the one that used to be the blonde myth before me. So
That's true.
Oh yeah.
He
But
hit
no, I
that
finally
pose too,
filled
I
out
think,
my-
right? Yeah.
I finally filled out my body. You know, every show.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's been the thing. You know, shitty lats. You know, arms could be bigger. So back definitely could be bigger. So now I did the grunge. You know, I did the work. So now we just have to reevaluate the science. It sounds crazy, but that's the easy part.
Just refine it. Just refine it.
Adding
That's it.
new tissue. Yeah, adding new tissue when you're already 275 is very hard. So if I could do that, I can definitely keep doing that.
You
That's why
obviously
I said
have
when
the genetics to do it. I mean, because it's incredible, at your age and, at the stage of your career you're at, that you were able to add that much muscle in 1 year, which just goes to show you that I think a lot of guys just don't want to do the work, and you obviously did the work. So, congratulations on that.
that's
Thanks,
why I
guys.
said. That's why I said, seeing Sergio and Akeem up there, I'm thinking, oh, if they come in 100%, it's going to be a world of hurt for the other guys. So.
Well, let's wrap this thing up. Sergio, we'll let you go. Lee, always a pleasure as always every week. As we say, like we said, we'll see you next week.